Welcome, everybody, to my podcast called Solid Solutions. My name is Vicki Bailey Downey. Thank you for joining me this Wednesday evening. And tonight we are going to be talking about who told you that. Okay, that's our subject for tonight is who told you that. So what do I mean by that? Well, sometimes we have voices um, other than our own speaking into our lives. And a lot of times, sometimes we hear those voices repeatedly and we begin to believe what we're hearing. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. So we're not talking about the things that motivate you, that inspire you, that encourage you, even though these are the things that you should be taking in. What we are talking about this evening is the negativity that we allow to come into ourselves, into our mind, into our heart as we believe the words that we're hearing. And then it begins to affect our lives, okay? And then it affects our actions. It affects how we communicate with other people. It affects how we how we think of ourselves, and how we think about other people and the world around us. So, here are some of the questions that I want to ask you um, about who told you that, just to get you thinking about some of the things that you've been taking in over a period of time, sometimes even years. And if you have been taking in that negative energy, those negative words, and you began to believe them, we want to talk about some ways where we could break that cycle and get you back onto the positive side of things. Okay, so here are some of the questions I want you to just think about. Who told you that? So, who told you that you were unworthy? Think about that. Who told you that you were unworthy, right? Who told you that you would never amount to anything? Who told you that you were ugly? Who told you that you would never start a business? Who told you that you would never change? Who told you that your dreams could never come true? Who told you that there's no use in even trying? Who told you that you're not going to make it? Who told you that you would never start that business? Who told you that you would never be a boss? Who told you that you could never make it on your own? Who told you that you would never excel to be more than what you are today? Who told you that you would never own a home? Who told you that you would never have a family? Who told you that you would never find a good man or a good woman or a good partner? Who told you that you could never have the desires of your heart? Who told you that you're no good? Who told you that you would never make it in a relationship? So just kind of think about those questions. And, even if there are questions that I didn't ask, you get the gist of what this is about, and the things that have been said to you, some of the things that you've said to yourself. And a lot of times we say, it doesn't matter what they say about me. I don't care what other people think about me. I don't care what other people say about me. But the thing is, we do care. On some level, we all care, right? And if we hear it enough, like I said earlier, we start to take that into ourselves and we start to believe it. And then what happens? When you start to believe those negative affirmations, because they're still affirmations. If someone is telling you this over and over and over again and you start to believe it, that means you are affirming what they are saying about you. And you're taking that in as a belief, and you're letting that affect the way you speak, the way you move, the way you interact with other people. You let it change your life on some level because you believe what you're being told. So, what you really have to be careful and mindful of is knowing the truth about yourself. Okay? So these questions that I asked you, the main question is, what do you say? What do you say to these things? That's what's most important. What do you believe about these things? How well do you know yourself to where you have this, let's just say, this force field around you to where when someone is telling you something negative about you or about your life, that it just bounces off because you know yourself so well and you know the truth about who you really are, that these things don't penetrate. And this is the place where, if you're not there, this is the place where you need to be, right? So the point is to be better than you are right now. Okay? So what you want to do is you want to sit back and you want to think, what do I feel about me? And I would get a piece of paper, get a pen and a piece of paper, and every negative thought that comes up about what you feel about you, write it down. Write it down. And there are going to be some. Okay? There are going to be some. Write them down. And after you write them all down, I would say probably take about, let's give it 15 minutes. Just 15 minutes of just thought about how you feel about you. Okay? And then every negative thought, write it down. Then, when you finished writing it down, ask yourself, who told me that? Who told me that? In other words, where did you get that from? Who told you? Where did that come from? Did somebody say you were ugly when you were little and it just stuck with you? You believed it the first time you heard it? Did you just constantly hear it? You're fat, you're too skinny. Did you believe it to the point where you just, it just lowered your self-esteem, or you just didn't have any self-esteem because you believed what you were told? So ask yourself, who told you that? Who told me that? That's the question. Who told me that? Okay? And then ask yourself, is it true? Is it true what they told me? Is it true? Third question is, why is it true? Why do you believe it is true? So first question is, who told me that? Second question is it true? Third question is, why is it true? Now, some of these questions, your answers are going to be, no, that is not true. So when this happens, and this is what we want to happen, we want you to, if you believe, no, this is not true. Why is it not true? No, I do not believe I am ugly. That is not true. Well, why isn't it true? Well, it's not true because God made everybody beautiful. And I am beautiful. I am gorgeous. I am attractive. I am lovely. These are the things that you have to tell yourself. We do not all have a entourage following us around, hyping us up. We don't have a hype man, following us around all day, hyping us up. You have to be your own hype man. You have to be the person who motivates, encourages, and inspires you. Because there is not always going to be somebody around to do that. And this includes those times when you're thinking, well, yes, I believe that I'm unworthy. Yes, I believe I'm never going to start that business. Well, you need to start asking yourself, one, who told you that? Two, is it true? And three, why is it true? You got to do the work. If you want to be different, you want to be better, you got to do the work. It's on you. It starts with you and it ends with you. Nobody can fix you but you. Nobody can decide to change and be better but you. And, a lot of times we do things for family, for our kids, but you have to do it for you. You have to do it for you. Right? If you don't have family, if you don't have, people that you call friends, and you don't have anyone in your circle, but you still want to be better, you want to be different, then you do it for you. It has to start with you. And then that can only make it better for those that are around you, right? So, you want to start somewhere. And I think the best question is, who told you that? Who told you that? And then, once you go through the questions about who told you that, is it true? Why is it true? And you start to break out of that cycle by saying, well, no, it's not true. And if your answer is yes, you believe, yes, it is true, then you need to find out, why do you believe that? Why do I believe this is true? And 9 times out of 10, you're going to find out it's a lie. It's a lie. It really is not true. You are worthy. You were born worthy, right? You are, you can start a business anytime you want to. You can change anytime you want to. It starts with you. It starts with you. And I really hate the term ugly. I don't like that word because, one, I personally don't believe that people are ugly. Now, your actions may be ugly. How you treat people may be ugly. How you talk may be ugly. And that does kind of affect the viewer's perspective of how you look when you act that way. But physically, I don't believe in calling anybody ugly, because God made you the way he made you. And what he had in mind when he did that is none of my business. And you weren't put here, for your looks. You were put here for a bigger purpose, for a bigger plan. That's a different podcast, and we will talk about that in one of my other podcasts. We'll talk about that. But so you have to kind of, embrace who you are. Now, we all have things about ourselves that we don't like, physical attributes about ourselves that we don't like. We wish that we could change. We use makeup to cover them up. We get surgeries to enhance them or remove them or add them. There are several things that we do to try to make ourselves look better, either for ourselves or for other people. Needless to say, we naturally are beautiful. We are naturally beautiful. And it shouldn't matter what anybody says, because whoever is saying it is not your maker. They are not who created you. They are not who made you. They are not who knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. So again, who told you that? Because, if someone is telling you something negative again over and over and over throughout your life, then, you've got to know the truth about you. You got to know the truth about you. And if you don't know the truth about you, find out what the truth is about you. And the best way to find that out is just read your Bible. Read your Bible. It is just full. There's different places in the Bible that's just full of, how God made you, what he thinks about you, that he has a plan for you, how he wants to receive you unto himself, and how he loves you, and how he sends angels to protect you. And it's just full of the truth about who you are. So I encourage you to, ask yourself again these questions. Who told you that? Is what they told you true? Why is it true? And why do you believe it? Why do you believe it? And then after you've done all of that, the next step is to undo all of those negative affirmations that you have taken into yourself and that you believe. It is time to undo it. And you undo it by taking all those negative things that you wrote down, that you think about yourself. You take one at a time and you say that out loud, whatever that is, and then you combat it with the truth about that thing. I am not ugly because God made me beautiful. I am a boss because I have skills and experience and gifts and talents. You see where I'm going with this? And, one time is not going to do it. If you've been listening to these negative statements and affirmations throughout your life, and you have jumped on board mentally and emotionally, and you have co-signed this and you have believed it, then it's going to take more than one time to combat that negative affirmation. And this is not saying a positive to combat a negative. No, this is the truth combating a lie. That's what this is. So you have to make sure that this is something that you are ready to do. This is something that you are willing to do. And this is something that you are going to be consistent in doing, because it's not easy, y'all. Everything in life is a journey. Every time you decide to change direction, every single time you decide to do better, it is a journey. It is never a snap of a finger and then boom, everything has changed and gotten better or has gotten different. It doesn't work like that. Now, we understand that life events happen in the blink of an eye that can change everything. But as far as you making the decision on your own to make changes, it is a journey to carry out those changes, to carry out those steps in changing. And when you decide to make that change, always have a plan. Okay, you want to always have a plan. Write it out, write it down. What are your intentions? Why do you want to change? What is your why? What is the reason why you want to make a certain change? And then write out, the steps you want to take to make that change, no matter how impossible it seems. Write it down. I encourage you It doesn't matter what you're doing, whether you're deciding to make a change in life, if you're deciding to open a business, if you're deciding to have a child, if you're deciding to change jobs, whatever it is you want to do or make a decision to do, write it down and write the steps. Write down why you want to make that change and write down the steps that you would like to take or you think are necessary to take in order to make that change. And just watch how things will start to move around, situations will start to form, people will start to cross your path, and the next thing you know, you're checking stuff off that list. You're checking steps off that list, or you're just checking items off that list, depending on what you have on there. I have seen this happen in my own life time and time and time again. I have a list. I have a list of about 225 things, and I'm steadily checking them off. And I'm telling you, I've put some stuff on my list that just seems just impossible. But I put it on there anyway, because you just never know. It's none of your business how the end makes it to you. It is your business to write it down. Know that that's what you want to do. Know that's what you want to try. Know that's where you want to go. Know that's what you want to be. Whatever it is, write it down. And then just go on about your life, and you'll just see how all of a sudden an opportunity presents itself for you to learn more about this thing, or for you to step into this thing, or, a person crosses your path that, has what you need for one of the things that's on your list that you thought was just totally impossible and could never happen. I am living that right now. So again, write it down. This is why I told you at the beginning, before I asked those questions, get paper and pen so that you can write down the negative things you think about yourself, because you need to see it. You need to see it. If you just think about, oh, well, yeah, somebody said this about me. Oh, yeah, I think this about me, or I think that about me. Before you can even try to unravel those thoughts, you done forgot what it was you thought about. Write them down. That way, once you combat one, you can check that off the list, move to the next one. Don't be in a hurry. Take your time. And it will happen. Just take your time. So, life we make it harder than it has to be a lot of times. And I think a lot of times that comes from outside influences, because we do listen to what other people say. I'm telling you, that TikTok is something else. You get on TikTok and you just scroll, and the next thing you know, 2-3 hours have gone by, and now you have taken in all this different content. And I'm going to tell you, every single time you do that, you walk away with a added belief about something. Whether it's TikTok or Facebook Reels, or just scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, all of these social media outlets, you are forming opinions and you are forming beliefs, and every single time you're walking away with a new belief. Which, again, who told you that? Is it true? Why is it true? And why do you believe it? So, it's just, and then you have to, you could be saying to yourself, no, that doesn't happen to me. But I'm telling you, how can it not? When you spend hours, going through these different reels and, these different pages, and different people doing different things and saying things and preaching things and, trying to teach things and, giving out just an overload of information, you are taking that in and you are forming beliefs. Trust me when I tell you. And if you really think about it, what I'm saying is true. So just be careful about what you take in, because it's not always somebody that you know. It's not always a family member or a so-called friend or your frenemies or enemies who are in your ear telling you things. Sometimes it is social media, it is, television, it's music. What are you taking in? And then as you're taking it in, how do you feel about it? Because sometimes you can be looking at something or watching something and you know that deep down within, it does not feel right. It does not feel right. It doesn't sit well with you. And you know you need to flip that page up, or you need to swipe right, left, or whatever, because you know that this is not something you should be listening to or looking at. So you have to guard yourselves. Guard your thoughts. You have to guard, like I said earlier about the force field. You have to know the truth about yourself so well that this stuff just bounces off of you. And that doesn't mean that, oh yeah, I know myself so well, I don't take any of this stuff in, but you're doing it every day. You're watching it and listening to it every single day for hours. And you think nothing's getting in? Something's getting in. Something's getting in. So and I'm not saying, you can't, be on the social media sites. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying guard what you take in, because what you take in will come out. It will affect you internally, and then it will affect the world outside of you. So just be mindful, be careful, protect yourself from, of things that you should not be allowing in. Okay? So, I'm just here to motivate, encourage, and inspire you. That is my purpose on this earth, and I do that through training, teaching, training, mentoring, coaching. It's what I do. It's, I breathe it. That is my passion for people, is to make sure that you are all right, to make sure that you are doing well, to make sure that, you know the truth about yourself, and that you believe the truth about yourself. There is, so much power within you that, you don't know you have. And, it's not for you. It's for the people you are here to serve. And that is what I help you try to find. I help you to try to find that. So I really appreciate you joining me this evening on the Solid Solutions podcast. And I will be back again next week with another episode. Going forward, I will probably have guests on every now and then. I just wanted to hop on this evening and just talk to you guys a little bit, about who told you that, because I want you to know the truth. You need to know the truth about yourself. And I want that for you. We all need to be all right. We all need to be okay. We all need to be walking in the purpose that, we were created to walk in. We all need to know that we are powerful beings, and that we, we are strong, and we are protected, and we are not alone. We have a God who loves us with a great love, and, there is just nothing better than that. So thank you again for joining me this evening. I really appreciate you spending some time to listen to what I have to say. And again, I look forward to speaking with you again next week. You guys be blessed, and stay motivated, stay encouraged, stay inspired. That is my solid solution for you this evening. Thank you, and good night.